Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I wanted to go ahead and give my review on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is the reunion part one. All right, so I'm gonna be honest. I felt like they could have sent me an email. I do. Um, I felt like this could have been a virtual reunion, even though Quiet as It's Kept, that virtual reunion was one of the best reunions they've had. I think they could have stayed at home for this. It did. The reunion picked up towards the middle. So I will say, I'll give the first part of the reunion a B because again, towards the middle, it kind of picked up and I was kind of satisfied. But that first like 30 minutes, I was just okay, like, girl, what? Girl, what are we doing? Girl, can we go home? Girl, what are y'all doing? Um, I thought the set was very nice. I thought it was so cute how they had them sitting in the middle. Basically, they were surrounded by water. I said, girl, girl, y'all know who I'm about to bring up. I said, I'm so happy PJ's mama is not there because she's violent and she likes to fight and pull people. Can you imagine? I said they probably was like, girl, let's go ahead and get this set out of the way just in case if she come back next year. Because we know if she come back next year, we can't do this. Because somebody going to end up drowning. Okay? Um, the seating arrangement. As much as people may not want to admit it, honey, that seating arrangement got y'all in a chokehold. That just goes to show, girl, how much power that y'all have given Andy Cohen. Because when the faves ain't sitting beside Andy, people have a problem. The seating arrangement was a mess because it didn't make sense that they made Sheree and Marlo sitting beside Andy, whatever. I knew Marlo was going to be sitting there. I was kind of surprised with Sheree. I thought it was going to be Kenya. But Marlo was not a shocker to me. The only thing I didn't like was Drew and Sanya sitting beside each other. I felt like that was a disaster waiting to happen. Somebody said it was a cousin. Who was it? I saw one of y'all say in a comment section that they probably set it up newbies versus like the OGs. I was like, oh, that actually makes sense because that's the only sense you can make out of the seating arrangement: the new girls versus the old girls, or the new housewives. Because Marlo isn't really necessarily new, but like the new housewives versus the old housewives. I think that seating arrangement, I think they are also probably purposely doing that because they know that it's going to drive a lot of the viewers insane. Because it's another show they were talking about the seating arrangement. Oh, was it Beverly Hills? Because I think they said Lisa and Cal are sitting beside Andy. I can see them purposely doing that because again they know it's going to drive the viewers up a wall. That seating arrangement it really don't. Only one person can sit beside Andy. Well, two people. You see what I'm saying? But anyways, girl, whatever. All right, so the episode starts. Oh, my back itching. The reunion starts. Who's the new bone collector? They play a little, segment of the girls all pretty much being messy, carrying bones. Everybody has 2 bones apiece. Candy says that she thinks that Drew is the bone collector. I guess she, brought a bone, literally, and threw it across the ground. So she's a bone collector. Drew starts with Sheree. I will say this much. Usually the people that sit beside Andy are the people that have caused the most chaos and confusion or / been in the most drama that season. And so they'll have more to say than the rest of the cast members. I really didn't understand Sheree sitting beside. Like Sheree just did y'all notice every time it was like a moment that Sheree should have responded, especially to Drew. Girl, they started playing the birds chirping. Did y'all notice that? I feel like that was a way of them telling us like, girl, Sheree, girl, you probably got 1 foot out the door. Keep it up, Mama. We gave you this. We gave you the first seat. Right, we gave you the golden seat, and girl, this is how you representing, girl. Put her at the end of the. Can you you switch? Candy, you move up. Sheree, matter of fact, girl, bring that boy back. She could just go home. Okay. Ooh, but I'm also a little disgusted in Sheree too, so I might be a little bit hard on her for no reason. Well, I do have a reason. Sheree is not. I'm not gonna allow Sheree to play in my face. The simple here I go. Here I go. Let's go. The simple fact that Sheree got on this TV and for real, sat here and tried to make it seem as though even before, we know that this was shot before the season finale. Girl, you really got on this TV screen knowing that, girl, you were not going to have any type of garment ready besides those press-on T-shirts that should be no more than $30 that you're trying to sell, that you're trying to push for 142. Like Sheree knew right then and there that she didn't have anything prepared. She knew that. She knew that website was not going to be up. She knew she didn't have nothing to sell. She knew that. And she sat right there on our TV screen and told a lie. That's why I'm disgusted with Sheree. And that's why Sheree can't say, like, anytime Sheree even spoke on the reunion, I was looking at my TV screen in disgust. Like, ugh. Because, look, girl, you really tried to pull a fast one. Did Sheree put Fatum up to do her dirty work? She says, let's call Anthony. Andy says, let's not. Drew says, Anthony calls my phone every day. Drew, you still talking to the boy who got on TV? Or he didn't necessarily get on TV. You still talking to the boy who told the people that your husband was a punk? Well, she didn't technically say she talked to him. She said he calls my phone every day. So again, this is Sheree just is whack to me. I hate to say that. Oh my God. I hate to say that. Like, I'm so disgusted in Sheree. I'm probably not gonna talk about Sheree no more for the rest of this review. Because she gonna get my nerves worked up, and I don't feel like dealing with Sheree. Oh, I am gonna bring up Sheree because we gotta talk about Martell. So Drew makes a comment about Sonya. She says she's a great runner outside. Oh, they were talking about Sonya, I guess, not having a brain or not being able to think on her own. And then Drew makes a comment about Sonya. She's a great runner outside of that. I don't know what else is there. So Sonya responds and says that basically they've been on the earth. They basically are around the same age or the same age. And the most that Drew has accomplished is mediocrity at best. Right? Drew gets offended. Don't do that. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful. You're playing yourself. I mean, girl, let me just say this. Look, both women are accomplished, I guess. I'm still trying to figure out why Drew and her husband has 4 assistants, but whatever, child. Both women, I guess, are accomplished. But girl, we gonna have to just call a thing a thing. Drew playing T-Boz and Drew playing herself on the game and girl having that little role on White Chicks, girl, is not enough for her to have the mouth that she has. She's trying to disrespect somebody else in their career. I mean, she runs. That's what she said. I mean, she runs. She's a great runner outside of that. I mean, I don't know what she does. Right? Like, you're disrespecting this woman and trying to downplay the fact that this bitch got 5 medals, girl, and 4 of them are gold. Are you really talking to a gold medalist Olympian? Girl. You see what I'm trying to say? And there are probably more people who know who Sanya Richards-Ross is than Drew Sidora. I mean, the girls who watched the game, yeah, we knew her. But outside of the game, in the Lifetime T-Boss movie, the TLC movie, can I say something? I think Drew is cool. I mean, I think her and Ralph are putting on stunts and shows. But whatever, girl, it's a TV show. Can y'all stop trying to act like Drew is a fan favorite? No, Drew is not the fan favorite. Y'all just don't like Sonya. That's all that is. And I've come to the conclusion that as much as people don't want to admit it, the first season girl is usually the one who people hate the most. I can't think of a time besides Tanya, and girl, she still on the run, okay? Besides Tanya, where girl, the viewers of Real Housewives of Atlanta came to like some type of agreement that, okay, we like her. For the most part, whether it's a friend or a housewife, we usually don't like them. So I'm not surprised that people don't like Sanya. I am surprised that y'all are trying to say that some of y'all I saw online, like on Twitter and stuff, are trying to act like Drew is his fan favorite. No, Drew's not a fan favorite, girl. People still don't too much care for Drew. Girl, they just hate Sanya. That's it. I like Sanya. I want Sanya to come back. I think Sanya is a great addition to the cast. Girl, I know I keep going back from Sanya to Sonya. Girl, I think she said it really didn't matter what you call her. I think somebody said she didn't care. But anyways, I will say this much. For the first half, even though Drew was getting on my nerves, I feel like Drew tried to show up to work. She tried to reel Sheree in a couple of times, and each time Sheree didn't respond, and they would play that bird chirping. So I'm not mad at Drew for trying to like get the party started. I thought Sanya did a good job for the first half. You know, like I said, the first 30 minutes I was kind of like, oh, girl. But I thought, you know, Drew did okay. I think Sanya did okay. You know, Kenya, to me, was pretty much kind of just like jumping in here and there. But she really didn't do a lot the first half. Candy had her moments, especially with Marlo. We're going to get some Marlo. And then Sheree, girl, she could have just stayed at the hotel with Martell. Sure, they play Sheree's package. I'm not talking about that. Sheree can't remember the shade that she throws at Candy. Like, this is the problem, right? Because y'all get into these confessionals. That's why they call them confessionals. Confessionals, interviews. I remember the time when they called them confessionals, right? I think now they call them interviews, right? But y'all get into these confessionals, confessing, and then you forget that, girl, they're going to play these confessionals on the show. Sheree, girl, you talk plenty shit about Candy. You did. Candy, this is the thing. Candy, I mean, some people could say, girl, if you talk about somebody, man, you're talking about them. I don't remember Candy necessarily talking about Sheree. She more so made comments about Tyrone. And girl, do we really care about Candy making comments about a convicted felon who went to jail for allegedly stealing? I guess I can't even say allegedly. Did he go to jail for stealing? So it's like, girl, do we really care about Candy talking about somebody who was stealing from people? Like, do we really care? All right. Kenya tells Sheree that, you know, Candy was rooting for you. And I almost, girl, Ken, you shut up. Don't come to Candy's defense. Let Candy handle Sheree. Let Candy handle Marlo. Because when it's time for you to go toe-to-toe with Marlo, Candy not going to jump in. Well, she might this season. She might this reunion. Sheree basically tells Drew that, you know, Drew doesn't represent fitness or working out. I mean, girl, we're not going to sit here and try to act like when you look at Drew, you think of working out and fitness. You just don't. So even the whole drop it with Drew, which we're going to get into that in a little bit with Sanya and Drew, we all thought that most people that I saw online thought that like what Drew was doing was pretty much a scam. Come to find out, it was another lady's business, and they just kind of used Drew because we're gonna call a thing, girl. Drew was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Girl, you could shed some light, girl. That's free advertisement. So, girl, you want to be the face of Drop It with Drew for the Atlanta location. That's it. That's it. Does Sheree pay her bills? I just said I wasn't talking about Sheree, but we got to talk about some stuff. Okay, does Sheree pay her bills? I'm so disappointed in Sheree. Like, I don't even think I can be fair. That's how disgusted I am with Sheree. Like, and I try to be fair in my reviews, but I'm like, my stomach just is in knots when I have to talk about Sheree in the stunt that she has pulled. I'm gonna try to be fair. I know some of y'all think I don't be fair when it comes to the girls, but I think I try to be fair. We all got our favorites, but I still try to be fair. Does Sheree pay her bills? No. That's the conclusion. No. Sheree don't pay her pussy bills at all. I put she by scammer. This is the thing, right? I get it. And I think a lot of people get it. No one wants to pay for a service that they received that was horrible, right? However, just like Kenya had to explain to, I think, the oldest person of the cast, which I think is Sheree. I could be wrong. Her and Kenya might be the same age, but for some reason I think Sheree older than Kenya. But it's sad that you got another grown woman having to explain to another grown woman why she should pay her bills. Candy telling Sheree, just listen to Kenya. Sheree, you a mess. Sheree, you get a job, somebody comes to do a job, even if you don't like it. And this is the thing, right? Especially with Sheree being Sheree. I'm not saying that it will be okay for regular people to do it, but with Sheree being Sheree, and Sheree already having the reputation of people saying that she does not like to pay her bills, you would think that she would be better about paying her bills. Sheree reminds me of that person, no matter what service she receives, no matter how great the job is, she's going to find something about the job that she doesn't like so that she could justify her not paying her pussy bill. You could literally go to Sheree's house and, girl, do your job, girl, 100%. And she's still going to find something wrong just so she don't have to pay you. That's the girl that Sheree gives me. That's what Sheree gives me. That's how I think Sheree justifies her not paying her bills. By saying that the job is horrible, so therefore I'm not going to pay. Nobody wants to pay for a messed up haircut. Nobody wants to pay for a bad sew-in. Nobody. Again, not to sit here and say that regular people have an excuse not to pay, because you should pay. There's been plenty of times I've gotten my haircut, edge up, be messed up, fade not right. You know what I'm saying? I've went to different barbers, right, and my haircut will be right. I just pay. And I just never go back. I'm not supposed to be, girl, well, let me shut up, girl. I'm not supposed to be arguing none of these niggas in no barbershop over no $30 haircut and get shot. Girl, here you go, sir. Girl, you'll never see me again, but here go your little $30. Okay? So Andy basically starts running down a list on Candy on the stuff that Candy does. He says something, basically somebody had a question. I think, Candy, you always throwing stuff in people's face that basically outside of the show, you throw stuff in people's face. Like you did it to Dennis, you did it to this person, you did it to this person, you did it to this person. Here go Candy. Whoa, 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 whoa. I tell you this. Andy was reading down a list, girl. Candy got nervous. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, whoa, 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 girl. Answer, girl. Marlo. Oh, God. I got a lot to say about Marlo towards the end of the review. But before we even get into Marlo, I just want to say this. Girl, Marlo, I'm sorry. For anybody who's new to my channel, what's up? My name is Rodney. I'm Team Twirl. Have always been Team Twirl. I ain't never gonna change. Okay? So whatever I have to say about Marlo, you don't have to get in my comment section. Oh, you just saying that because you biased when it comes to Marlo. You sound like you biased, girl. Girl, anybody tell you, girl, I'm Team Twirl. So I don't give a fuck about Marlo or nobody else on that show except for Kenya quiet as his character, okay? That's it. I'm just looking at what, we gonna get to it. Marlo sounds crazy in this part. So Marlo, I guess this is her way. Marlo, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Marlo sounded dumb. Girl. Marlo, I guess, was trying to, give us an example of Kandi not trying to help her. Marlo has sat over there and convinced herself that Todd just upped and called her out of the blue. I don't think that's how that went. I think what happened was that how Kandi explained it. I think that Kandi and Marlo had conversations before about Marlo trying to get back on TV, Marlo wanting to be, again, part of the reality TV world, Marlo looking for a new gig, Marlo looking for a new job, and I think that Kandi then went back to Todd and told Todd about the conversations that she had been having with Marlo, and then Todd called Marlo. I don't think that Todd just upped and called Marlo out of the blue. So yes, even if Kandi helped you, girl. That's the moral of the story. And even if you did not like, even if you did not like the contract, that still does not mean that she didn't try to help you. That just means that you didn't like the contract. And if you didn't like the contract, then why are you still trying to say that she didn't help you? Because if she didn't try to help you, then why are you bringing anything about a contract and trying to throw it in her face? You see what I'm saying? If she didn't help you. Marlo sounded real crazy. To me, she did. Then Sheree, and of course, Kandi starts to get upset. Sheree interrupts them and said, hey, this is supposed to be Sheree's segment. Well, girl, I can't tell. Because every time we look up, you're supposed to respond to somebody. I hear a bird in the background chirping. Yeah. So, girl, let the other girls take over. Because you ain't doing nothing. Andy asks her about her new boo. She says he's a nice guy. Is he? Is he really, girl? He's a nice guy. What does he do? Sheree, after Andy asks Sheree, what does he do? She said, what does who do? What, Sheree? You have a new boo. He's a nice guy. Right? They're talking about Martell. What does he do? Sheree responds, what does who do? She's sitting there thinking of a lie. She don't know what to say. Who you think he's talking about, Sheree? Girl. Marcel? Who you got? Bob? Girl, like, who? Tyrone? We know Tyrone still. Like, who, Sheree? Who? What you mean, who? So she says real estate. I said real estate. Okay. Maybe, okay. She said he just came out with a wine line. Okay. Why, somebody asked a question, why would you get him, basically, I'm sorry, I'm about to sneeze. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Girl, it's like, what time is it? Girl, it's 2:24 a.m. and I'm up being messy. Girl, I'm trying to get this review out the way. Girl, it's so much stuff we got to talk about. We still got to talk about Bell. Well, I already did Bell Collective. We got to talk about Ray J, I heard Nicki was online going crazy. I heard, I'm sorry, we also got to talk about Married to Medicine. It's another show we got to review. Oh, Love and Hip Hop Huntsville. It's so much stuff. All right. Basically, why did you ignore? Somebody asked basically, why? Basically, are you ignoring red flags? Andy is like, well, what did he do? For basically for them to ask, do you ignore red flags? What did he do? Baby, Sheree was about to lie. Sheree said, I don't know. Kenya says he cheated, and then that's when Sheree was like, he cheated. he cheated. You know, she started stuttering, trying to hurry up. He cheated and had a baby. She said, well, actually, he cheated multiple times, and then he had a baby. She basically says that he's an attractive guy, but she's never been the one to, like, you know, I guess, like, go by looks. Kenya says, we know, we seen Bob. And then ooh, girl. Sanya and Drew. They were building a friendship. Okay. So, can I say something? I feel like a lot of y'all be trying to play Sanya. I saw some of y'all on Twitter trying to act like y'all didn't know what Sanya was talking about, what was going on. Now, is it true that I think that multiple things can be true at the same time? You know, I think some of y'all don't realize that. But multiple things can be true and exist at the same time. Yes, is it true that Marlo could have, not Marlo, that Sanya should basically, if she's going to use I saw how you was moving amongst the group with Drew, she should do the same thing with Marlo? Yes. Yes, that is true. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that, girl, the points that Sanya were making were valid points. Let's get into it. All right. So the first thing is that we're building a friendship. Drew was basically saying, you know, we were building a friendship. I introduced you to people. Sanya says, who? I'm about to explain to y'all what Sanya was doing. Listen, okay? I introduced you to people who? Drew says, Shamia. I'm guessing she's talking about Shamia, the one who Phaedra and Portia said was screwing Candy and Todd. Remember when Phaedra sat at the table and Portia agreed with her because they thought the camera wasn't on? Yeah, okay. Anyways, that's Portia's best friend. So that's the only Shamia that I'm thinking about. She says, right, I don't know. Well, I'm sorry, let me read this. Sorry. Oh, so Sanya replies and says, right. It's important that you tell details because you'll try to make it bigger than what it is. And that's exactly what Drew was trying to do. I don't care how you try to slice it and dice it. When Drew tried to pull we were cool, I invited you to my mother's 77th birthday, I introduced you to people. The way I felt like Drew was trying to make it seem was like, girl, she had just introduced Sanya to girl Tyler Perry, Michael Phelps, girl Steve Harvey, and that's why Sanya said, "Who did you introduce me to?" Shamia, and that's why Sanya said, "Okay," because I don't want you to try to make it bigger than what it is. Girl, you just introduced me to Shamia. You see what I'm saying? Drew, I don't know where this energy is coming from. Girl, when I say you, Drew gonna pull a white woman. Have y'all noticed Drew gonna pull a white woman in a heartbeat? Okay, Kenya sitting across smiling. Girl, loving it. Okay. Sanya says that she told Drew about the conversation she had with Kenya. And about basically what she expressed to Kenya while they were in NYC. And because Drew basically wants to come across as this certain person that people are not getting to know. So she was saying, well, girl, I had a conversation with Kenya. This is what I told her. And maybe the person that you want them to receive, they're not receiving because of X, Y, and Z. Drew, while getting to know Sanya, was we said we're not gonna use aggressive no more, right? She was she was throwing some shit in that hallway when she walked up to Sheree's face, doing all this, right? That's one. It was another thing I can't forget that Drew did that made me question that I could see why somebody questioned her too. Then the third thing, well, the second thing, because I can't remember the third thing. The second thing was basically the whole drop it with Drew. So if I'm getting to know you and I see how you doing all this to somebody, then you doing some drop it with Drew and it sound like a scam, that's enough. That's enough reason for me to sit here and question, girl, do I want to be cool with you? Girl, you saying that you want to be this nice, jovial person, this person who's, get along to everybody, but girl, I see you, girl, doing all this to the girls' faces. So, girl, which one? And then you doing this drop it with Drew, and girl, you can't even drop it into a squat. So it's kind of, girl, like, what's Tisa's? Sanya had valid reasons to question everything about Drew. Now, yes, because she questioned Marlo, absolutely. But that still don't mean that the shit she questioned about Drew was not valid. I think that some of y'all trying to play Sanya. Yes, could it also be true that Sanya was trying to use Drew as a storyline to have somebody to beef with? Yes. That could be true too. But again, the reasons that the stuff that Sanya was doing, like I could be building the friendship with you, but if I see you rude to the waiter, if I see you rude to housekeeping, if I see you rude to the cashier at the grocery store, I'm looking at you like, well, damn, bitch, this how you treat people? That's a problem. And that is going to affect the way that I look at you. Okay? Anyways, Drew says she still don't know what the issue is. You know what the issue is. You know what the issue is. She says, you're so angry. Drew pulled the white woman card at least 5 times this episode. You're so angry. So Sanya started crying. Again, I believe Sanya. I think Sanya's probably frustrated at this point. Marlo. Oh, girl, here we go. Oh, sure. Marlo starts to tell her story. I'm going to say this much. Girl. Marlo coming back next season. The way Marlo sat there and told her story, right? And they literally gave Marlo like the last, what, was it about 7-8 minutes of the reunion? Basically, just for her to talk. That was enough for me to let me know that, oh girl, they're trying to let Marlo clean up this mess that she low-key created this season. So just let her tell her story. And I think that at the end of Marlo's story, I think that was enough to convince them white people, okay, girl, bring her back. Girl, I really do believe that. Now, with that being said, outside of the show, right? I think that Marlo needs therapy really, really, really bad. I felt bad for Marlo. I was crying. For those who don't know, I'm a crybaby though. I felt bad for Marlo. With that being said, if I was a person, I put some of this on Twitter. If I was someone in this friend group and I had to deal with Marlo because of basically this is the job, I would only deal with Marlo in group settings. Marlo would not have access to me because Marlo is very abusive verbally. She's very abusive emotionally and mentally. Okay? And unless Marlo decided to seek out some deep, deep therapy to get through whatever trauma that was inflicted on her as a child, she would not have access to me. Because while I can acknowledge what you went through as a child, and while I am even willing to acknowledge that some of the ways that you move is probably due to your childhood, I'm not going to give you permission to inflict whatever shit you got going on onto me. I hope that makes sense to the people. I think that you can acknowledge Marlo's childhood without giving her an excuse to treat people like shit, right? It makes sense why you move the way that you move. You can still get your ass whooped, childhood trauma and all, right? Because people go through stuff. You can go through stuff, you go through life, you treat people like shit, you might get cursed out, you might get your ass whooped. It's not an excuse for Marlo's bad behavior, but I can understand why Marlo acts the way that she acts. But again, within my understanding, you won't have access to me because of how you move. And anytime you get mad, anytime you get angry, you bring up stuff that you know bothers me. AKA bringing up my husband. You know that bothers me. You see what I'm saying? You sitting here bringing up Candy's husband. We all know how Candy feel about her husband, her mama, and her money, okay? So Marlo, you will not be able to continue to go low with me because I'm not going to allow it because you're not going to be around me unless it's a group setting. You see what I'm saying? I think that Marlo's going to have to do some deep work. I'm not no therapist. I'm not no doctor. I'm not nothing. I think Marlo's going to have to do some deep work. Because no one in their right mind would allow somebody like Marlo to continue to be around them when at the end of the day or whenever you get into an argument, because friends get into arguments all the time. That doesn't mean you're not friends. But as soon as we get into an argument, girl, you're trying to cut me to the white meat. She basically says that, Kenya says that she's an iconic ex-con. Girl, what? Girl, Kenya ain't say that. I tell you, when Kenya looked away and started breathing, when Kenya looked away, when Marlo said, she's even said that I was an iconic ex. She didn't call you an iconic ex-con, girl. She said that she's an icon. You're an ex-con. She says, basically, I'm sitting next to a media mogul, the OG, Miss USA, a Grammy winner, Olympian, a singer actress. Like Marlo, when I tell you Marlo was giving the speech of the speech of the speech. Marlo said, "Girl, I'm saving this speech. Come hook or come crook." They asked Kenya, were you excited for Marlo to be a housewife? I'm sorry. Was Marlo the housewife you expected her to be? Girl, you heard the birds chirp, and then Kenya said no. Okay. She said something about she could have showed that she had a great heart and she's a good friend, but she went the opposite way. They bring up, I guess, the time that Marlo kind of tried to console Kenya in New York, but that was only one thing. That was only one time. And then just like Kenya said, but she turns around and she basically weaponizes what I've told her against me. Like, girl, no, you weaponized my husband. I didn't. When Marlo said she didn't, she ain't never said nothing about Mark. When I tell you, Kenya touched her head. Girl, like this Kenya. Like, Marlo, baby, you're going to have to get it together. Because the truth of the matter is, why I have a little soft spot for Marlo, I completely understand why people don't want to fuck with Marlo. Because, and Kenya, again, as much as, and I said this, as much as We think Kenya goes low. Kenya don't go low like Marlo. Kenya done said some shit, but usually it's the stuff that the girls and I already said, and she'll just repeat it back to them. Marlo got a whole bunch of nerve, and that's the reason why I like. And I also understand the people that don't feel sorry for Marlo because again, Marlo, girl, you're in no position to talk about nobody's mama, like in real life. Like in the simple fact that girl, you can sit here and say what kind of mama, what kind of woman, you know, you got to be something. Whatever she told Kenya back in season whatever when it was around the campfire, whatever. I can't remember what she said, girl. Whatever she told Kenya about her mama basically not wanting her, and girl, that's what I'm saying. Like I can't even say the stuff because it'll just sound mean coming out of my mouth. But Marlo, like you're the last person to bring up anybody's relationship with their mother. Because, you know, I did say this before. While Marlo, you can sit here and say that Kenya mama, you know, didn't want her. Girl, I would rather have a situation like that where like either I was estranged from my parents, I didn't have a relationship with my parents since childhood, since you know, since I was a baby, than to have a relationship like you with your mama who, you know what I'm saying? Like to this day, girl, your relationship with your mother is still toxic, and girl, you're a grown ass woman at your big ass age, still hoping for a fairy tale, and it's just not gonna happen. And then Kenya says, "Can I just say one thing?" I think at that point Kenya was over it, quiet, and just kept like, "This bitch sitting up here crying, shedding tears. I get it, but let me say something." Kenya got every reason to go after Marlo if she go after Marlo in the next part. Marlo says that you know they call me whores. They could never walk. They could never walk in my shoes. They call me whores and prostitutes, but can't bring you one guy. Well, Marlo, girl, if you were selling pussy, which I low key kind of think that you were, girl, that's how the business is supposed to work. We not supposed to be able to bring you one guy, okay? Because if you really sealing the deals, girl, if you really like, girl, I'm not supposed to be able to find the John. It's supposed to be sealed. So no, girl, I probably can't find nobody, but that don't mean you wasn't selling no pussy. Oh, anyways, John. And then here go Marlo again, putting her foot in her mouth. Did y'all hear what Marlo said? Cause it's wait, cause cause when she said, cause I say whatever's on my mind. They don't want to get to know me. Marlo, do you hear what you're saying? That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like I have a soft spot for Marlo because I at least I've told maybe because I've told myself this that Marlo just fucked up in the head, girl, and she needs some help. But Marlo, girl, you cannot sit here and say because I say whatever I want to say because I say whatever's on my mind. They don't want to get to know me. Marlo, did you hear what you just said? Cause I say whatever's on my mind. They don't want to get to know me. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Cause you say whatever's on your mind. So girl, I don't need to get to know you. Girl, you crazy. You're not gonna talk to me crazy. Again, I think that you can acknowledge Marlo's childhood, acknowledge the stuff that she's been through, but still draw a line in the sand and say, girl, I acknowledge your pain, I acknowledge your childhood, I acknowledge your trauma, but sweetie, you're not gonna inflict that bullshit, not bullshit. You're not gonna inflict that on me. Sorry. So once you go seek some help, and once I see that you are better with your mouth, and once I see that you don't use stuff that you know that I'm very sensitive about and throw it in my face, then maybe, just maybe, if I want to, girl, I'll let you know if we can try to rebuild a friendship. Other than that, girl, stay the fuck out of my face. I'll talk to you when we go on group trips. Other than that, girl, we can't go meet up and have no coffee. We can't meet up and have no cocktail. Because as soon as I say some shit that you don't like, bitch, you're going to be ready to come for my neck. Marlo, I'm about to say something that I don't want y'all to take this the wrong way. It's almost like having a family member who's addicted to drugs, and you have to love this person from afar until they seek help. So like you can acknowledge that this person is going through what they're going through, and they're probably behaving the way that they behave because they are on drugs. However, because I know right? What you're going through. And I know that, girl, you're probably behaving the way that you behave because you're under the influence of whatever type of drug. I still can't allow you to come to my house because, girl, I'm going to look up and, girl, my TV going to be going off my wall. You know what I'm saying? Girl, you still can't come over to my house, girl, because, girl, I look up, honey, you done took $20 out of my purse. You know what I'm saying? So, you can come over when it's family reunion time. You can come over, but everybody make sure you leave your purses at home or lock them in your trunk because, girl, here come cousin Keisha. Here come cousin Tyrone and his girlfriend, that white lady. Girl, that don't know how to act, right? So I think that's what it is with Marlo. Like, girl, I can acknowledge what you've been through. I can acknowledge that, girl, you probably behave the way that you behave, even at your big ass age, because of the trauma that you went through or the trauma that you have. But, girl, you can't have access to me, not until you get some help. And once you get some help, and once I can trust you to come to my house and not think that, girl, if I walk out to the backyard or if I go to the restroom and come back, girl, I ain't got to worry about my TV being gone. Okay? If I can't trust you, you can't come around. Okay? Anyways, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.